And if Paula catches up with us, it's fine. That'd be good. More the merrier.
We go live on YouTube. Okay, we are live. The February 22nd, 2021 meeting of the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historical District Committee is about to convene. As a precautionary measure to reduce the spread of coronavirus, this meeting will be held by remote participation. My name is Grace Rogers and I'm the Office Administrator and will be serving as moderator for this virtual meeting. I'll now turn it over to the committee chair.
Thank you, Grace. My name is Richard Kagan-Roth, and I'm the chairman of the Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee for the town of Yarmouth. I will begin by taking a roll call to see that we have a quorum. Bob Wilkins.
I'm here.
John Stewart.
I'm here in voice only. I've lost the picture suddenly.
Spirit.
Wait.
Rosemary Nichols.
I'm here.
And Paula Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
On the way. Okay, so we do have a quorum and we'll be able to proceed with the meeting. We never start before 7:15 and it's now 7:20. So I will ask the moderator to explain how the remote participation will work before we progress into the meeting.
Richard. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Yarmouth Old Kings Highway Historic District Committee is being conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access and participate in the proceedings as provided for in the order. Persons who would like to view this meeting while in progress may do so by joining the virtual meeting as an attendee or the live feed on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel. You may also listen to the meeting by dialing into the number provided on the notice of meeting. The meeting will also be posted on the Town of Yarmouth YouTube channel for future viewing. Please be patient as we work to overcome any and all technological challenges with the virtual meeting. For all meetings, all audience participants enter the virtual meeting muted. Participants will be unmuted when called upon to speak by the chair or moderator. If you are not speaking, please mute yourself to avoid unnecessary background noise. Clearly state your name each and every time prior to speaking. Do not use speakerphone or Bluetooth devices when speaking. All votes must be roll call votes. After a motion is made and seconded, the chair will ask for a roll call vote. Applicants can use the raise hand button or press *9 on their phone to identify themselves to the chair. The moderator will unmute applicants when they are called upon to speak during their portion of the agenda. Applicants shall identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation. Applications or presentations provided by the applicant will be displayed by the moderator only if asked to do so. If it appears the meeting cannot or should not proceed, then the moderator will recommend that the chair request to continue the hearing to a later date and time. Public comment. During the portions of the hearing designated for public comment, the chair will ask if anyone in the audience has any questions or comments relating to the item being heard. Members of the public may request to speak by selecting the raise hand button or *9 on their phones and waiting for the chair to call on them to speak. Members of the public recognized by the chair are asked to identify themselves by first and last name and affiliation for the public record, and then provide their comment. I'm now handing the meeting back to the chair. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you, Grace. There are 13 new applications for certificates of appropriateness, and there is one carried over from our previous meeting. And they will all be heard in the order that they were listed on the agenda. Please be reminded that our committee's main purpose is to review items for appropriateness and setting, and it's the responsibility of the applicant to comply with the regulations of other town boards and departments, including the building department, conservation, engineering, health, zoning, and the sign inspector. You should know that there is a 10 calendar day appeal period starting once a decision is filed with the town clerk. Any person aggrieved by our decision tonight can appeal to the Regional Commission of the Old Kings Highway. Our office administrator will be happy to answer any questions you may have with respect to that process. So the first application is from Phil Baxter of Baxter Hospitality. Is the new owner of that business here on 6A. It's at 277 Route 6A. It's concerned with removing existing slate roof shingles and replacing them with architectural shingles. So this house was built in, says here, 1730. I was amazed at that. I
Is
think
that
just
correct?
beginning.
It could be 1780 or 1716 or I don't know about 1730, but
Yeah,
Should be like 1830 for that.
yeah, that's what I would think.
1780, I think, is the most likely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be not correct.
And it probably was built in pieces,
That's
not all at once.
right. Unless it was changed in style.
I think the mansard roof was put on in 1850-ish.
Okay, well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, this slate roof shingles are mostly vertical. Here we go. It's a beautiful house building. And over the last few years, it's come before us a few times, addressing improvements, repair kind of things. And the slate tiles are on these mansard roofs, quite vertical, and they're rounded, each one of them like scalloped, very orderly done. The top of the roof is not flat, but not very steeply pitched either. It's probably 1 or 2 inch pitch. So it's pretty flat.
What is that material on the flat part of the roof?
It's, I think, are we waiting? Is Mike from Conserve here?
Yeah, I believe I was just admitted. So this is Mike Hilsinger with Conserve Group. And the top portion of the roof right now is slate, and it's well beyond its serviceable
Very
lifespan.
top?
The very top. Correct. We're not proposing to do anything with the mansard portion at all.
Oh, okay.
It's in good shape. It's got a lot of paint on it that we're gonna try to get off of there just to make it prettier.
Good.
But we're strictly looking at the top section of the roof. So everything from above the trim line at the top of the mansard on up, which is almost impossible to see if you wanted to go back to view number 9, let's say here. You really can't see it from the ground much. I think there's another view further on, maybe 10, or I can't see it on my screen, but
You can Google it.
no.
You want to see the top.
Yeah. So what are the earlier views above number 5 that I see over here? Okay, there we are. So if you look at the carriage house in the rear, those are already fiberglass asphalt shingles above the mansard section. Virtually impossible to tell from here. And we're proposing basically the same, just to remove the slate from the flatter section of the roof and replace it with asphalt shingles.
Good. So, well, my work this afternoon, you try to find substitutes for slate.
No.
A waste of time.
Well, there are. Right. So the I went by on Sunday when the sun was out and shining, and you did have a couple of ice dams, one on the east and one on the west, or 2 on the east and one on the west. So the water was coming out about halfway down the mansard part of the slate roof
Hmm.
as it melted. It looked
Okay.
like a low spot on the when you're standing on Strawberry Lane and you're looking up. There's some of that trim. It looked like it had sagged down.
Yeah, there's a really rotten piece on that side
Okay.
that is in need of repair, which we will do as part of the roof repair.
Right. So you're not even the top horizontal rectangular slate pieces aren't going to be removed
The
on
top,
the mansard part. The top row.
Inside part is not being worked on.
everything above the mansard
Yeah,
would be replaced, correct?
All the wood trim.
Oh, no, not all the wood trim, only as necessary.
Okay.
Just that rotten piece on the
Yep.
the right side from the street.
Okay.
I'm
Like
surprised. I'm surprised that John isn't recommended that you put the latest thing from Tesla,
Don't get me started.
like glass solar panels, which look like shingles and in fact look like tile.
They really do.
You could cover the whole top of the roof and be solarized.
Once they hit the market for real, then we can talk. But
Yeah. They're available.
There are a few here and there now. I don't know of any on the Cape yet. Yeah. Because, you know, we're always being criticized that we're not pushing solar in the historic district. And so we always look for opportunities.
Well,
And this was acreage. We're talking acres of roof here.
you had us worried. We thought you were taking
Yeah.
mansard.
no, sir.
Yeah.
I do have a question, however, about the contention that the slate itself has
Mhm.
deteriorated.
Well, not necessarily the slate, but a lot of it's come loose. A lot of it is broken. You know, the caps certainly are in tough shape, and it's just not something that if it were more visible, it would be worth chasing. But it's 3 stories up after the mansard. It's so out of sight that the best solution right now is the fiberglass
Yeah.
shingles.
But you're gonna come.
And are they going to be, I mean, the little bit that you can see from any vantage, it's going to be essentially indistinguishable from a visual point of view from the mansards material?
Yeah, and this picture that's up here now, I think, is a good example of that. If you look at the roof of the carriage house and the roof of the main building, I think you will be hard pressed to know the difference between the two.
So the
So
color.
these new shingles will be black or charcoal.
Yes. I don't know. Grace, did you have a chance to post that photo I sent this afternoon of the sample board? There it is.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, ignore all the multiple colors at the top. Those are
Right.
other options, but the larger section is the charcoal black.
Yep. Good.
So they'd be rectangular. They wouldn't be shaped in the same fashion as the slate shingles on the mansard section.
Flat bottom, maybe.
These have. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, see, I think, are you asking, are they straight cut, Bob?
Yeah, that's my question. Is the sample exactly what they're going to look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's GAF makes one that looks more like tile. And also, let's see, I had a couple I looked up.
The reason I'm pressing on this issue is that as virtually invisible as this is going to be, you're still talking about one of the most significant historic structures in the heart of the historic district in Yarmouth. So as an antiquarian and a preservationist, I'm extremely sensitive to the integrity of the building and the originality of the building. The slate shingles are an important component of those considerations. They are character defining features as defined in the Secretary of Interior Standards for Historic Preservation. So I want to make sure that if we approve this this project, that that we're doing something that we're not going to live to regret down the road.
Well,
Yeah,
once it's gone, it's gone. So there are substitute, not slate, but shingles that come just like these in what 39-inch meter sections that are, well, they're used in some historic districts to replicate slate, not on Beacon Hill where I've worked, but
yeah, there,
available. I can't speak to the price. Are you familiar with those?
yeah, there was one, I don't know if you can see this. You see that?
Oh, yeah, okay.
See,
Right.
each tab on the bottom is rounded.
Yeah, I can't see that. I think that,
It's hard.
is it rounded or is there a beveled, an angular cut
No,
on the corners?
They're rounded. They
Hmm.
have an arc.
They are.
Each one of those little rectangle sections.
Well, the existing slate shingles above the mansard are not radiused along the bottom edge
Uh-huh,
like they are on the mansard. They're squares.
okay. Yeah, and then, as I say, the GAF, they're squarish, but
What's the name on the GAF?
it's
Richard?
GAF Royal Sovereign.
Royal Sovereign, sure.
Yeah. The 3251 a square from Lowe's. I could have spent the afternoon researching this, but I limited it.
Okay.
Yeah, the GAF Royal Sovereign I'm familiar with, and we could use those very easily, just as equal as the landmark that we've got here.
Yeah.
Can you get that a better picture to us, Richard, somehow?
It's
Hold it up to your camera.
yeah, it's this is not the right color. They also make it like a charcoal like this is. But if you,
Yes, I have seen those. Okay.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they have a little black border, I think, around the color section. Is that what
Yeah,
we're seeing?
yeah, it does look like that.
Mhm.
Either that or it's a deep shadow.
Yeah, I think it's designed to look like a deep shadow, but it's
Yeah.
actually a little black border.
Yeah, I would guess that is the case.
Would Mr. Wilkins, my esteemed colleague, be happy with that?
I'm not happy.
No, I mean,
I-
of course, I'd like to see a slate roof go back on where one's coming.
I
up.
would love to see a slate roof go back, but it's kind of difficult to press that case, considering the fact that it's going to be extremely difficult to see the roof.
It was. I
Um,
couldn't distinguish from the street. I had binoculars as well from the parking lot and from Strawberry Lane, and I could not tell what the roof was made from.
Yeah, I agree.
It was on the right
I
side.
couldn't, it was difficult to distinguish from any angle.
I mean, if it were my house, I'd try to resurrect and save the slate, but it's not my house, and so therefore I don't feel like I can impose my particular obsessiveness, if you want to call it that, with antiquity and historic correctness on others.
So is this whole roof getting covered with Grace water barrier?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got such a small slope that it's required.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Are you aware that there's a reproduction singular plastic slate available?
I am.
Yeah.
What about that as an option?
Well, again, if you could see it and appreciate it, it would be worth the expense. But in this case, it's just not something that can be discerned from the ground.
Okay, do we have a motion on this?
Let's ask if there are any abutters present who'd like to speak.
Right, yeah, if there's any abutters, you raise your hand electronically or push *9.
There isn't a butter.
State your name for the record too, please.
Bob Kelly is muted. Is that who?
Okay, I'm unmute now. My name is Bob Kelly. I'm a Yarmouth Historic Commissioner. And I'd just like to weigh in. I'd like to first off offer a little of information about the style of that roof. That roof is actually a hip style roof on top, very shallow. I agree that between in 1850 and 1880, that is a cover that might have been or probably was taken as they lifted the house, and they used saltworks covers of the crane type to put on there. And the mansard roof, there's a number of architectural buildings in South Yarmouth that have that exact same style. And the top covers were roofs. The mansard bells out to make the room actually larger. So it's a little background on that. I think it's a shame that we can't maintain, the same character defining materials on that. I agree with Bob Wilkins. You can't see it, but I've seen it. I've had a number. I actually did Google it, and I've had a number of angles on it, and you can clearly see the angles on that roof. It's really quite beautiful. So that's my input. I think it should stay as close to the original as possible, especially in that location.
Well, okay, so what's possible then? Would a substitute for slate, Mr. Kelly, be acceptable? It's not acceptable in historic districts, other historic districts I've worked in. I'm not sure why, because I can't determine it from the street. The ones that are individual shingles made from, not sure what they're made from. They're plastic though.
You mean a substitute?
Yeah. They're, I'm sure the lifespan is the same. Or it might be longer actually at that bit.
Yeah, I mean, the lifespan of those the slate is pretty long.
Well, no, I mean the substitute slate. Yeah, lifespan of the slate. I worked on one that was over 150 years old. It was fine.
Are there any changes to the angles of the roof that are proposed in the application?
No, none at all.
No,
Right. So if it can't be seen from
now.
most
yeah,
angles,
you can't see it now, you won't see it when it's done.
yeah.
Are there any other abutters who'd like to weigh in? We have a long list.
There are two other people with hand raised. Are you all set, Bob?
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you, Bob. All right.
Do you have other people?
I do.
Okay.
Dinah Wolf.
I'm Dinah Wolf. I live across the street from this house. And my husband, Les Pete, and I walked over to look around it. And when we first saw the agenda item, We both thought that they were going to remove all the mansard shingles and replace them with something else, which was a little alarming. But now I have heard that they are thinking of doing something only to the flat portion of the roof. And nobody has mentioned what is the shape of the existing shingles on the flat portion of the roof.
Oh, yeah, we discussed that. It's not flat. It's like a 2-inch pitch.
I know.
Comes
All I
together
mean
at the center.
Yes, but the portion that is not the mansard, what is on there now? It's slate, but what is the shape of the slates?
It's a squared edge rectangular slate.
Well, I found these almost impossible to analyze in comparison to the mansard slates. And I personally, given the practicality of the slates or the shingles that are proposed, I don't personally have an objection to putting the architectural shingles on that top portion of this building's roof.
Good. Thank you, Dinah. Is Team Helsinger? What is that?
That's Mike Hilsinger with Conserve Group.
There's
Not
one
a-
more.
Yeah.
Butter.
Good. Contract.
Are you all set, Dinah?
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one more butter.
F. Ecker. He's muted still.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. My name is Fred Ecker. I live on Thatcher Shore Road. I'm a historic preservation contractor. I think the first question I would ask is, why has repairing the roof why has that been ruled out as opposed to total replacement?
The roof itself is in tough shape all the way around. It's not just one spot or another. I think that we were not asked, to look at a repair project here because of the size of the roof itself and the scope of work that needs to be done. The building does suffer from ice dams because of the low pitch and insufficient insulation. And really the best solution is to get the entire roof sealed up, which requires removal of everything there.
Talking about the deck as well?
The deck?
Roof deck.
Oh, no, we don't plan to replace the roof deck. Only if we find something that's needing repair.
I'm just worried that precedent is going to get set. It's not like there are a lot of slate roofs in the area, but there's one just down the street that I know of. But I have removed and replaced a number of slate roofs in the past, and it's not very hard to remove the slates, put down snow and ice shield, and put the slates back again. They typically last 100 years plus. I'm just wondering why that option hasn't been exercised.
Well, I think I can't speak for Phil, but maybe we could have a conversation about that, Fred.
Okay. I mean, the location of the house benefits from, being in the historic district. It's one of the most imposing structures in Yarmouthport. It faces both 6A and our main town green. It's a building I love. And I just worry that if we partially start replacing roofs, it's going to set a precedent for down the road to create more issues for this board.
Each application is considered independently, actually, but I agree with you that I've repaired slate before, and it ended up costing less than doing a whole roof. What kind of percentage? Could you give us a wild guess on what kind of percentage of those slates are no longer serviceable?
Oh, I couldn't off the top of my head, 5 or 10% perhaps.
That's
There are
not a
some
whole lot.
missing. And
that are not usable?
I would have to argue that. My experience tells me that typically 75% are replaceable, repairable, meaning removing and put them back on again. But anyway, I just want to make sure that we just don't automatically replace when repair could be an option.
5 or 10% are not usable, or 5 or 10% to 10% are usable.
5 or 10 is not usable?
25.
that was my
is-
estimate. I'm a bit confused too, because Fred just said 75% would be salvageable, would mean 25%.
Yeah, I'm trying to
That's-
be
Yeah, but
unsalvageable.
the problem is we haven't seen it.
We haven't seen it. We haven't seen it.
We're not allowed access unless we're invited by the applicant to see the room. Not interested.
Me too.
Well,
I guess to make my point, all I mean is typically 75 to 80% are reusable once you remove them and put them back on again. I just would like to see, somebody consider repairing rather than replace. I don't understand why we have to wholeheartedly replace. That's all.
just so we're all on the same page, I think I understood the applicant to say that 5 or 10% were not replaceable. In other words, 90 to 95% are usable, reusable. Is that correct?
That's, again, a rough guesstimate, not something that I was paying attention to earlier.
That doesn't seem like a major repair to me.
Well, it's because it's not in one section, it's across the entire roof. B, we want to get a tighter roof on this building than exists, which would mean removing everything.
Yep.
So I think that if it's amenable to the board, and the board is feeling like it would be okay to approve the fiberglass shingles, at the same time, we are open to taking this discussion further with Fred. And if he wants to take a look at this roof for us and give us an opinion, and it makes sense to salvage everything, then we would, entertain that.
So ice and water underneath and placement in the 10% range sounds like it might end up costing you less money.
Well, I mean, if it does, that'd be fantastic. This is a business, so cost is a factor. It's not a residence where you can justify spending more sometimes. So that's important.
Right.
So
consider that the cost. That's not unless it's a hardship case.
I mean, the house does benefit, being the fact it is in the historic district.
Sure.
Okay, well then, if Mike, if you're agreeable to that, Mr. Ecker has offered to lend his expertise, and why don't we move in that direction and consider if the board would consider tabling this until we're not in a rush to replace the roof right now.
Yeah, we are in a rush to replace the roof. It's failed. It's
February.
Yeah, I think part of it is we need to renovate what's under it. So when we start to put in, new ceilings or furniture and things like that, we can't afford to have
So
that is a step. It's an early step in the project.
Right. What I would ask, if the board's amenable to it, and you would approve the fiberglass shingles, to approve that with the condition that we follow through with Fred, and if we're able to make that work, we certainly will.
I think the right way to go is what John suggested. It would cost you an extra 2 weeks, I believe. Grace, can we get this back on the agenda in 2 weeks?
Oh, hold on. First, to do the job, you have to take the shingles off.
Right, one way or the other.
And then, to do anything up there, they've all got to come off.
The deck has to be repaired, and the ice and water has to go down.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't leave ice and water.
And then do the underlying repairs, which would be common to anything you put on.
Right.
And then at that point, you have all these shingles laying there, and you'll say, well, that's about 20% need to be replaced or it's 10% or 50%. You know, if you're very careful taking them off and they don't crack or anything, there's going to be some loss anyway you cut it. But at least you'll have an idea of what's the replacement going to look like. How much do you have to replace? And what the cost is going to be to do that. But I think you got to proceed for the first step. And you may not know in 2 weeks. Maybe you know in a month.
Well, you still have to source materials, so.
Right.
But to source materials, and secondly, it's going to require the removals phase to be done carefully so that the great majority of them are damaged, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Well,
Secondly, let me ask one other question. Has the upper portion been inspected with a lift or a drone?
No, we can see it from the cupola in both buildings.
okay. All
Okay.
right. Then.
Well, I don't think a motion to table is unwarranted in this case. I think there are enough open questions, enough concern about the project that that a motion to table is appropriate, and I so move.
To table,
Yes.
Yeah.
I will second that.
right. And the table would be not for 2 weeks, but at the discretion of Phil.
Right, and
Right.
so we need to have an addendum to that motion.
Okay, so we had a motion from Bob and John seconded it.
Right, but an
So-
addendum needs to be there for inspection and agreement prior to the 2 week when it's rescheduled.
Well, it would be rescheduled when Phil and the contractor and with Fred have assessed the situation, then they can come back to us. That might be a month. So I think we're sort of tabling it indefinitely, but probably within a month or so.
So just to weigh in again, this is Mike Hilsinger again, just to weigh in briefly. The roofer that came out and looked at it for us originally said the slate was not worth repairing. But it should also be noted that there's a different underlayment for slate as to fiberglass asphalt shingles.
Oh, right.
So we are not able to move forward
Very far.
really until we know which direction we're going. And, while I appreciate, the desire to keep the slate, this, is not something that we can guess at. We need to know which direction we're going to move right out of the gate.
Okay, so you won't know that until you take off a bunch of it. And
Well, we need a second opinion, in other words.
And you're going to need the right roofer also. I don't know who the roofer was who made this assessment about slate, but I would hazard a guess that he's not done.
He has actually.
He has done slate roofs?
Yes, that's why we called him.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was his determination, that there were too many that were broken, or it's typically a cost factor? That's usually why replacement is requested.
Okay, so I don't know, Fred, have you heard of Ipswich roofing before?
I have not, but
Okay,
I'm relatively new to the Yarmouth port, so.
Okay. So yes, too many broken shingles was his determination.
And you aren't comfortable doing the removals and replacing with ice and snow shield meanwhile, or a Grace product?
Well, they're two different products.
They are.
If we put ice and water on, and then determine that we've got to, that we're going to try to salvage the slate, then that's a different animal entirely.
Right. So, were you going to start this project within the next 2 weeks?
We were hoping to apply for a building permit right after this, yes, because we've already got a building permit in place to start renovating some of these rooms inside, many of which have failed ceilings due to water damage. So, at this point in time, this kind of puts the kibosh. And of course, we've got a deadline because, the rental season is coming upon us. So this is time sensitive as well.
And, well, I wouldn't hold my breath on the rental season.
Yeah,
We live next door to an inn, and they're just
Cape Cod Springs are not nice seasons.
well,
typically.
they're not doing any because of the virus. They're really
Yeah.
way off on any reservations for the summer at all so far. So,
Well, we have another, I mean, we have we have the Sassuat Harbor House in Dennis, and we're doing pretty well.
Are you?
Reservation. We had a really good season last year. Once it started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we're planning on taking reservations for those rooms, like mid to late June. So it is an accelerated process to try to make this thing feasible.
Okay.
We're not trying to do anything, shortcut historical or anything like that, but it is, like you said, it is a business, and we do want to, get some revenue.
Sure.
At least by July 4th. And this is one of the first steps.
So are you not comfortable doing the removals and then laying down a Grace product for now as a temporary roof?
Well, again, I think that we would be happy to entertain that if that's possible. And again, if the board, felt like we could get approval for the asphalt, but, keep an open dialogue. And if at all possible, if it makes sense, if we can make it happen, certainly we would do this late.
We can't do that.
Okay. So then,
Once we grant approval, that's it. It's
correct. So I don't know.
Well, we already have a table to motion, and it's been seconded. So a motion to table, and it's been seconded. So we're moving forward from there unless it's withdrawn.
No, there's really no point in withdrawing because, we're back in the same boat again. We need to get a determination one way or another. So I'd rather.
Well, why don't we let's do that then.
So can we get on the agenda for 2 weeks from now and have Fred out to take a look?
Mr. Ecker, Fred Ecker, are you available can you two exchange information?
I'm available. I'm available this coming Monday and Tuesday, and then I'm back out of the state again.
Well, we'll make it happen for Monday and Tuesday then.
Great.
Now, I also would suggest that someone from our board be there as well, if that's possible. Bob.
I was gonna recommend that. Yes.
Yeah. Bob or Richard.
Yeah.
Miss Bob Lucas.
I think we could both. Couldn't we not, Richard? Both be there?
Sure, next Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, that's good for me.
There's another hand raised.
All right, well, let's do this.
Okay, so
Did you want to
table
promote
for 2 weeks. We have the motion already. We'll take a vote on it. So John Stewart,
Aye.
Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
and myself, Richard Gagenroth. Aye. Okay, so we'll work something out for next week, get together, and then expect to get back at the next meeting in 2 weeks.
Grace, if I send you my email, or you've got it actually, could you maybe share that with anybody who wants to be on that meeting, and we can coordinate?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Fred can contact Grace too.
Okay, excellent. So we do have one other quick question. I know you have a very full agenda and we don't want to beleaguer this, but we had an arborist out who pointed out a tree that he was not happy with that's there. It's a substantial tree. And the question was asked to Grace earlier, what do we need to do about a tree that may need to come down, and is that something that is, part of the board's domain, so to speak?
Yeah,
So,
Where is it exactly?
yeah, this picture here, 15, is the best picture. So there's the tree,
wow.
the older
Hmm.
tree that's there.
Yeah.
The main leader, which was very vertical, is snapped off about 2/3 of the way up what you're looking at here. And then, Grace, if you would go to picture 16. So note so here's those 4 trees on that terraced area. There's 3 before the walkway and then 1 behind the walkway closer to the carriage house. The second one in from the street is the one that remains, and the others have been replaced with younger trees just because the other older trees have died off over the years.
Yeah.
So now go, Grace, if you would, to, I would guess, picture 14, please. So here you can see where the leader is snapped off. And then I don't know if you have the ability to zoom, Grace, or not, but on the right-hand side of this main trunk, see the snow that's on the, okay, now,
Yeah.
now scroll up on the tree, please.
There you go.
Okay.
There's a big black hole
Yep.
right there.
Used to be a big one.
Just below the snow. The snow would continue all the way, but there's a big black hole right there as well. So the tree is failing, and the time to take it down is I don't want to say convenient now, but practical now, because we are going to do some septic work here at this site, and we're able to fell the tree now, but after the septic tanks are in, they will be in this lower area of the yard, and will make the removal of this tree significantly more difficult.
Yeah.
Can be noted too that there's 2 cables that you can see coming in from the right here that are tied to this tree, and they're actually running to a telephone pole across the street.
Oh, good.
So they're using this tree to stabilize the telephone pole, not the other way around. And if, as the tree continues to fail, then it will create issues with that telephone pole as well. So we've also got to coordinate the utility company on this. But this is just a question that we had asked, well, what do you do insofar as historical with a tree like this?
Well, with the tree.
Yeah, we usually are concerned with the canopy for 6A.
Yep.
And so usually we have to make a decision on these trees. And
I'd like to see that as a separate application. In the meantime, prune the heck out of it.
We could certainly do that, but again, it's a question of control. Do we just go ahead and prune? Do we have to have pruning approved? But since we're going to be there early next week, maybe we could take a look at this in person at the same time,
right,
and have a discussion about that. It certainly can come in under another application, but I think again, it was just something that we thought we'd better ask before we act on.
You did. You were right in that assumption.
Okay.
good.
All right, so we will peel that off and make it a separate application, but at least someone from the board will have eyes on next week and can get a good look at it.
We all will. Great.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, I
Thank
guess
you.
we're all set then.
Great.
Yes, we are. All right, thank you. Grace, I will coordinate through you to set that up for next week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Okay. The next item is concerned with replacing 9 windows at 372 Route 6A. Leslie Altman is the owner, and Renewal by Anderson is the agent, and I suspect Renewal will be here. So,
Richard, if you could excuse me, I need to recuse myself from the rest of this meeting.
yeah, good.
You can still have a quorum.
Good. Okay, John.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
for coming.
John. Rest
Thanks,
up.
John.
Night.
Take care.
Okay, so we have Charles with us now. Is he on?
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Good. So let's take a look at this job. Grace has the information on that. We'll take a minute to get it up. This house was built in 1870, it said on the form. So we got a lot of old equipment here tonight. Zoom meetings, we have to be very patient because everything takes time. And if we were at the meeting at town hall, we'd have all the paper there. And you just grab a pile, sail through. Are they coming up, Grace?
Can you not see my screen?
No,
Oh, I've been sharing the whole entire application this entire time. I don't know what happened. I was wondering why you were all so quiet. Okay. You soaking it in. Let's see what happened.
there we go.
Okay. Okay, so these are the pictures, 7, 8, 9. These are 2/2 configurations by and large. And they're all around the house, including the front of the house. And that's a historic plaque on the house.
Do we know what the vintage of the current windows is?
The
Are
current,
those,
current windows, what are they?
Current windows are original,
Original.
as that's what the homeowner told me. What we're doing is keeping everything like for like. I'm keeping all the grid patterns exactly the same. They're going to be done with full divided light so that they look exactly like they do now. The homeowner wants it to look exactly like they do now. We are not touching any interior or exterior trim. We are just using our replacement window to make the home more energy efficient. This is phase 2 as well. You have approved in the past. We have already done, I want to say, a half dozen windows in the home. The ones on the front are the ones facing 6A, and the homeowner wants it to stay exactly like it is now.
Good. Yeah, I was concerned about the true divided light. So it'll have woodwork on the inside and outside and in between. Are these the Architect series windows?
Very similar. This is the Renewal by Anderson window. It has the mortise and tenon joinery. It has the same look as the A series window.
Okay.
It just doesn't have that wood core. It's the fully composite all the way through. These windows will be there for the next at least a lifetime, or the next homeowner's lifetime as well.
I was surprised that it's the opinion of the homeowner that that 2/2 windows are original. It would seem to me that this style of window came in later. Vintage of the house appears to be about 1850, thereabouts, I would say.
Yeah, the form said 1870.
Well, that's possible. Looks earlier, but it's certainly possible that the style persisted beyond the typical date of architecture. What's wrong with the existing windows?
The existing windows now are currently wood with storm windows on there. They're not energy efficient. Homeowners are extremely cold in the house. They're very drafty. Trim's in good shape. It's just the single pane glass and so forth that's problematic for the customers.
Well, once you take the aluminum the storm windows off, it'll look better to begin with.
Yeah. Well, without meaning any offense to the contractor, and I understand your desire to get these windows replaced, there's a reason why these historic windows last as long as they do. I have them in my own house, and the problem of exterior combination windows can be easily overcome with interior plexiglass storm windows, and you get equivalent energy efficiency and the aesthetics of the original windows, if that's what these are, on a prominent house on Route 6A in the heart of the historic district. So I'm not real enthusiastic about changing these windows out.
Has an energy audit been performed on the house?
I cannot speak to that. The homeowner just called us out for second phase of the project. We've done a bunch of windows in the house already. They called us out for second phase. I went there, I measured the windows, kept exactly everything like for like. And here I sit tonight to, try and get your approval for their new windows.
So this would complete the job, or what?
Yes, sir. This would complete the job. We have already done numerous windows in the house. They weren't facing 6A.
That's a big point. That's
right.
A big point.
So there's some in the back of the home that we're doing as part of phase 2. But the ones that you're looking at right there, I knew would be the main concern. And that's why I kept them when I was in the home that day, like for like. The house, just so you know, the house across the street just had windows done. I don't know if they were done with a contractor. They weren't done through us, but the house directly across the street just had the same. They just had windows done as well.
Yeah, that was actually not a good, not a good case to cite, because that was done without our approval.
We always do things once and we do things the right way. So that's why we're always in front of you guys.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
The other house had replaced the windows before, I think before we existed. We only came into being in 1973. And those windows had been replaced sometime early. But this was going to be the second replacement. And so we weren't taking anything historic out. Yeah, I agree with Bob on this, that if we could preserve these windows, at least on the front of the house, it would help a lot for the appearance. And it's possible that the interior, was it plexiglass or what material are they using, Bob,
Oh, in my house, plexi.
on the inside?
Mhm.
Yeah. They're very, very inexpensive. They can be easily removed and stored. And they do the job.
Mhm. While maintaining the original windows
Exactly.
facing the street. I think that's very important.
So we got 5 windows on the front of the house. So the other 4 could be worked on. Those are in the back there.
You can see, do you see the two at the below 201 and 202? You can see that they look exactly the same. We've replaced those ones at the bottom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Those are the ones we've done. On the right side, we've done those big gliding windows, and then we did those 2 double hungs on the lower level in the lower part of the home. And they look pretty much the same to me.
Yeah, well, in fact, when you have the storm windows over it, then the reflections off the large piece of glass makes it look like you have grills between the glass, because it reflects as one big piece of glass instead of the reflections off of 2 separate pieces of glass.
Homeowners paid the additional amount of money to have the full divided light. That's the interior, exterior, and then you have the spacer bar between the two pieces of glass as well.
Right. Yeah.
Grace, could you put up number 5 again? The front view, if that's the right, if I'm looking at the right number. Yeah. A lot of windows on the front of this house. Very important architectural feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would suggest that you go back to the homeowner and see if you can come up with options that would retain the original windows on the front of the house at least.
That's nothing that we can offer, ma'am. I wouldn't know who to tell those contractors. I wouldn't. That's nothing that we offer. We're the window replacement company. The windows in there now are completely drafty. They can hear the road right there. I mean, they need to be replaced.
So is it all or nothing in your view? Is that what you're saying?
Correct. If you don't approve the front of the home for us to replace the windows with Renewal by Anderson, the homeowners are going to be backed against the wall and they're not going to be able to replace them at all. If they want to explore other options like plexiglass on the inside, that's completely up to them, but that's nothing that we offer, sir.
Okay. I move to deny the application.
I second.
Okay. All in favor of the denial? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
and Richard Gagenrath, aye. Okay, so the homeowner will potentially contact the office, and Bob, maybe you know someone who can do that kind of a job on the inside.
Yeah, I just went to All Cape Aluminum. They're down around the corner from Kitchen Appliance Mart. Been around for a long time, good company. And they'll make them to fit according to size, give them the dimensions. And They're inexpensive and they do the job.
Okay. Good.
So are you guys denying the windows in the back of the home as well, or is it just those ones in the front of the home?
You didn't offer us that option. I asked the question, was it all or nothing? And you said yes.
Well, I thought you meant, but if I replace the windows, I have to replace the windows. I don't offer storm windows or plexiglass on the inside. The homeowner's not going to want to do that as well, but that's the point. All or nothing, that's up to the homeowner. I'm just speaking on the behalf of the homeowner, so I can't speak for them. But I imagine that they might want to do the back couple windows, but I don't know how this works, so.
Yeah,
Well,
Do
you
they
can come back. You can come back
directly?
with the application. If you want to modify the application, come back to us with the proposal to do the windows that are not visible from 6A. I
we
think
could
you
also,
might.
we could change our motion and make a motion to approve of the 4 windows other than the front. Because this is 9 windows involved. And I would deny.
Okay, I would like to amend. Do we amend the?
Motion to amend.
No, we already moved and passed it. So
Passed,
how do we
yeah.
do that?
Motion to rescind, I guess.
Okay, I'll move to rescind.
Bob, a second.
I'll second it.
And all in favor? Aye. Richard, Bob.
Aye.
Mary. Okay. So
Aye.
we- And now we'll issue a motion to amend the request on the application so that we would approve the 4 windows that are not facing 6A.
Completely understood. I will relay that information to Renewal by Anderson. I will relay that information to the homeowner as well. And that will be up to the homeowner what they want to do in this scenario. We appreciate your time, and we'll see what the homeowner wants to do and how they want to proceed.
Okay, so Rosemary, what about that? Just say,
Do you want me to second that motion, your motion, Richard, or
yeah,
I'll second the motion?
and then all in favor? Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
Richard Gagenworth, aye. Okay, so we're all set. And we'll stay tuned on the rest of the windows in the house.
I will have them reach out to you for suggestions on the plexiglass on the inside.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much for your time. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay. Now, the next one is construction of an addition at 15 Mohegan Lane. Gregory and Christine Meyer are the owners, and Gregory Meyer is the agent. Hopefully, somebody is here to Gregory. Good. Greg. So we'll unmute you. Got the whole clan here.
Mhm.
Okay.
So this is a relatively small addition. It's 7 by 12 on the back of the house behind the garage.
Yes.
It'll create a new entry, a mudroom, and it shows up in the drawings. There's a couple of pictures of the existing house. Here we go. This little porch thing would go. Here's that entryway. And if you look at number 8, it gives you the side view with that porch on the right side. And so the drawings are down below. Around number, was it 14? Here we go. This would be the side. The roof would be extended out like a shed roof. 4-inch pitch on that. And there'd be a side door coming out toward the side. And the, was it number 15? Shows the floor plan that results. You can see the garage at the top and entry from the garage into this addition mudroom, and you can go into the house through that, and the other comes in from the side. So it's recessed 5 feet, so it's not going to be noticeable from the front at all.
And the proposed materials are the same as the existing house, right?
Correct.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Are there any abutters present for this application? I move to approve.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
and myself, Richard Gaggenworth, approve. So good luck with it.
Thank you all very much.
Look good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. The next one is at 32 Carriage Lane. This is for the installation of a fence and a pool fence. Those are 2 separate fences, but with respect to the same location. David Short from Pro Fence. So he's the agent as well. So the homeowner and agent. And he is with us, and he is unmuted, I believe. So Dave can speak to this. The pictures weren't that informative to me. It's a nice house. And the next picture is a little upside down. This is the back. So it's not a straightforward back of a house because there's a lot of complications with deck and a few steps going up. And sort of like a sunroom or 3 seasons room. But that pool would be in back of that, where it's a little more rustic. And so we have the back of the house shown above with the pool. How far away, Dave, is the pool from the house? I see it's 100 feet from the property line, but how far is it from the back of the house? We're talking about a 30 by 48 black aluminum fence, typical what you see around pools, close in.
David just said that he has no sound.
By way of a chat. Okay, so now the wooden fence would be the 45 feet on one side going to the property line. And that type of fence is shown in number 10. On the other side, it's 50 feet to the line. So if you show number 8 as a picture of the black aluminum fence, and then number 10 as an example of the cedar fence, which I think is a board fence, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So if you click on number 10, Grace.
There we are.
There we go.
So it's a board and a nice trim up above.
Mhm. Do we have any abutters present?
Let me see.
This is all pretty much, if not actually invisible, of limited visibility from the public way. Would that be correct?
I think so. If you went to the original picture
Mhm.
in front of the house,
Sorry, there's a lot going on right now. I told David that any of the messages I'd read for him since his microphone's not working. We also have two hands that are raised. It's difficult to share screen and do all of it at once.
right? Yeah, I see Dave.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He's text messaging there or something.
There's two hands raised if you want to take public comment, or we could wait.
Okay.
Did you call him through your phone, David? Because you could do that.
Texted that
Okay.
he's on his phone.
I see you. Hold on. You should be able to.
Yes.
This should work now, David, if you unmute *9.
Okay,
Perfect.
There we go.
Good job.
fine. Okay,
So the wood fence, Dave, it's going to go out from on either side from the black fence. 45 on one side, 50 on the other. And what does that meet up with on the side?
so the wood fence will probably go along the line, between me and the neighbors. And then the pool fence will be a closed fence, which will have two gates. So
Right.
the swimming pool will be enclosed,
Okay, so the wooden fence, yeah, that fence
Yeah,
sort of ties in with the black fence, doesn't it?
no, they're two separate fences.
Oh, because the picture up on 7, it showed a fence on the side, 45 feet.
Okay, no, sorry. That's a distance between the pool and the line.
Oh, okay, to the property line.
Yeah, so that's 50 feet on the right-hand side to the nearest neighbor and 45 feet to the nearest neighbor there.
Okay, so where is the wooden fence on this diagram?
It will be going on the left-hand side where it says 50 feet.
Okay, so between your lot and the next lot.
Yes.
Okay. So how much does it get into the region of the house?
No.
It doesn't go up next to the house?
No.
Okay, so it's basically to give kind of a visual shield.
A visual shield, absolutely, yes. And
Okay.
privacy.
Okay, and how long is that total fence?
We haven't really decided yet, till we put the pool in, but I would probably estimate, if I had to estimate, I would say probably 120 feet.
It's all on one side.
All on one, maybe going down, and then it may taper off, and when it goes down on the side here, it may taper off on the left-hand side.
Uh-huh.
So the fence will go between me and the neighbors to my right-hand side,
Uh-huh.
down towards my neighbors at the very back of my house, the Hagopians, and maybe go towards the line.
And how far from the property line on it's on our right-hand side as we're looking at this drawing, how far from the property line will the wooden fence be?
I'm not gonna drop the fence on the line. I'm maybe gonna leave maybe 3 or 4 feet in between the line and my fence in case I need to get behind the fence and never to do anything, you know?
Right.
Mhm.
So it's just a straight section of fence, correct?
Pretty much, there may be two right angles, you know?
Right
On the
angles?
side here, I have a shed. I was going to start the fence on over beside the shed, maybe for 12 feet, and then go in a straight line for 120 feet.
Mhm.
And then there's another 66 feet there that I may, it all depends on the price of the fence, that I may add, you know?
I think why don't we break this apart and address the pool fence tonight? And then after you have decided where the other fence is going to be, make a plot plan with that
Okay.
on and bring that in. And because you're not going to be doing that right away. So
No, it's too cold.
yeah, you have to plan it out. So once you've got that plan, then come back to us, okay?
Okay. You think
So-
I can get?
Well-
Yeah, so do I hear a motion to approve?
Well, wait, excuse me, just a minute, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Will the pool fence be visible from the street?
No, to the back, it's
Oh,
towards the
visible.
back of my house.
Okay. And are there any abutters present?
Yes.
That's the rear. Yeah, Gopians are in the back. Let's see if we can unmute them.
Jesse, you're promoted. You just need to unmute yourself. If you're on your phone, press *9.
Yes, no, when you asked for a butters, if we were present, we just raised our hand saying we were present. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do you have any comments as long as you're here?
No, it's helpful to hear what our neighbors are thinking about doing.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so do we have a motion to,
We have another abutter.
okay,
Your one, Richard.
This is Philip Van Steenberg. I abut on the side where the longest part of the proposed wooden fence would go. Appreciate it. It would be helpful just to see, Dave, how far you intend to take it. I'm totally in favor of the wood fence and think it will be very helpful for you for privacy's sake. I could see why you want to do it, but the specific plan of where that's going to go would be helpful to see.
Good.
And very happy for you and the kids to be getting a pool in.
We're only getting the permit.
Yeah. Thanks.
right.
That's all I have to say.
great,
Okay.
thank you, Phil.
All right.
Okay,
then-
I'll move to approve the application predicated on a follow-up application for a fence, a wooden fence of the design and material that was submitted with this application that we accept. So in other words, this approval is contingent on the approval of the next application.
We'll cut it.
Well, we can approve the pool fence, can't
Yeah,
we?
right,
Well,
exactly.
we could, but what happens if there's no wooden fence? Does that change your opinion about the pool fence?
No, the pool
No?
fence is
All
a
right.
nice, it's a nice
Okay.
pool fence.
I move to approve.
Did you,
I think we need to approve the pool fence only,
right,
What we're
correct?
doing.
yeah,
That's
so
what we're doing.
All right, a second.
all in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
myself, Richard Gagerworth, aye. So we'll see you a couple of weeks or so, whenever you get around to it, Dave.
So I'll get around to it. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Great. Thank
Stay
you.
warm. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now the next item. I move on to 22 Centigrade Road. And that's Catherine Farazi is the homeowner. This is in addition to the garage. It's to remove an existing deck and to replace that area with the addition. It's supposed to be installation of windows, siding, and trim at 22 Centigrade. Good. Here's Catherine.
Hi.
Good evening. It's nice to see someone with white hair.
Yes. Silver. I call it silver.
There you go. Be careful, Richard.
I never think that I have white hair until I get on the Zoom stuff. Okay, so it's, excuse me, 16 by 24.
Mhm. Well, it's actually 40. It's bigger than that. That's to add an extra garage bay, which is 16 by 24. And then behind that is I already have a 20-foot deck behind the house. I want to include, basically remove the deck and make where the deck was all part of a new addition.
Good.
Keeping 2 bedrooms, of course.
Yeah. And the materials are all similar to what's there now.
Yeah.
Anderson 400 series with 6/6 and snapping grills. The diagram of the building, if we go down, yeah, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to look first at 12. 12 is the existing building, and the garage is to the left. Oops. Here you go.
Yes.
So this is going to go into a double bay
Mm-hmm.
on the left, and that's shown up on the diagram we just had.
Yes.
Here we go. Yeah, so this is the back,
Mm-hmm.
and here's the front, the double bay with a little dormer up above, which might be a decoration. I'm not sure. What is that?
It is. It is. I didn't like the look of just a really long plain ranch.
Yep, exactly.
So I liked the idea of the dormer really just for aesthetic reasons.
Right.
And I also wanted to put something over the front door, just that little portico, because I thought it gave it some architectural interest.
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, it's a nice choice of door.
I agree with both of those assessments. Nice job.
Good idea.
Yeah, and then the side view has some transom type windows. And the back, this is that room you're talking about where the deck is.
Correct. Where you see that big bank of windows right now, that's where my deck is.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if we're going to enclose the deck, we might as well just make the space all the way over to the edge of where the garage is.
Yeah.
And the place, the part on the right where you see the 2 little windows, that's where we're putting the second bedroom. Has nothing to do with Old Kings Highway, but we're taking in the inside, there's 2 very small bedrooms. They're 11.5 by 11.5. So we only get a full-size bed and 1 dresser. So we're taking that wall to make a real second bedroom that we can, when my husband joins me, he actually is still living off Cape. We're making it enough space for us. So that's really the reason why these changes.
Yeah, and then the old garage door, you're going
Mhm.
to reuse of it here.
Exactly. We're going to repurpose the garage door that's in the front right now. And it's really just going to be shed storage beneath the addition because we don't have a shed. And the 2-car garage will be for the cars.
Here, you can put the, ride-on lawnmower and
Mm-hmm.
materials and stuff in there. Good.
Yeah.
So I have a question about the array of 5 windows on this
Sure.
proposed north station.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need the 5th one on the far left?
I had wanted that. I actually have, the reason I want so many windows is I have a hot tub on my deck now and I use it year round all the time. I really wanted to create a sunroom in that space and have the hot tub remain inside the house so I can actually don't have to shovel the ice and snow off it. I had told the architect I just wanted as many windows as I could fit in there.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. The reason I asked the question is that your choices on the front, I think, are very pleasing, and obviously you have a good eye. And it would seem to me, from the perspective of balance, that 5th window to the far left sort of throws the balance off a little bit. And I wonder if it would be aesthetically more successful if you eliminated that last window.
I think from the inside, I see what you're saying exactly, Bob, on the outside, but it's actually going to be, I almost wish I gave you the interior plans. The sunroom is actually going to have a cathedral ceiling. So the center of the cathedral ceiling on the inside would be centered over those 6 windows in the back. And I don't know if I explained that properly where you can understand that.
I have a
you
sense
see
of what you're talking about. Yeah.
From the inside, it wouldn't be pleasing at all. I guess if you saw the interior.
I'm not overly concerned about it because it's not the visible facade of the house and probably not visible from a public way. I throw it out there because of the reasons I stated, but it's not a game changer for me.
No.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
Are there any abutters present?
No one's raising their hand currently.
Okay. That's good.
I would move to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Bob Wilkins.
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols.
Aye.
Myself, Richard Gegenwath. Aye. So, very nice, Catherine.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I'll be envious of you sitting in your hot tub.
I know. I use it all the time.
Yes, heat therapy is good.
It is. I just don't I just get annoyed. Like tonight, it's raining. It's kind of hard. I have been out with an umbrella, but I'm getting old and I'm getting tired of that.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome. Okay, let's see. The next item is concerned with removal and replacement of windows at number 18 Ebb Road. And this is the home owned by Larry Gracer. And the Aluminum Products of Cape Cod is the agent. So we might have Larry or a fellow from, I think, Dennisport. Matt Hunter.
I'm coming. Hi, I'm Matthew Hunter. I'm representing Aluminum Products of Cape Cod and Mr. Gracier.
Great, thank you for coming. Yeah, now, this is the installation of a picture window and 2 flanking double windows, and it is to replace an existing 4-light casement.
That's correct.
And it's in the same location, the header is the same size. And so you had a couple of diagrams that were very informational. This is the existing, and the below would be the after, and looks very nice. It's a good improvement.
I agree. Are there any abutters
Mhm.
present?
I only wonder why they didn't do that in the first place.
Diamond grids, the diamond grids, in historic, I don't know what it'd be good to know going forward. It's getting harder and harder to find companies that will make diamond grids to match existing. But
Yeah.
obviously with the time frame,
Mhm.
in the 60s and such, I didn't, it's harder and harder to find manufacturers that will make diamond grids to match existing if necessary.
Oh, yeah. I had diamond grids in windows. I built the house in 73, and they were wooden, and they were kind of difficult to put in and out.
Yeah.
But they were very nice.
Yeah.
And I would hate to try to match a broken one at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. This way it'll match with the rest of the house.
Yeah. Yeah. They were in Anderson wood casement windows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do I have a motion on this?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
And Richard Kaganworth asks you to approve. All in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
and Richard Kaganworth's aye. So the ayes have it. We didn't ask for neighbors. Did we have any?
Yeah, we did. We
I
did.
think we did. I think we did.
No one's here.
Good. So we're all set?
We're all set.
Okay. Robert, I'd like to add, I heard you talking about interior storm panels. There is a company called Indo. It looks like window without the W.
Yep.
And they've come up with this system of pressure fit storm panels on the inside. It's quite interesting, quite expensive, but they've been, I've been referring people, especially in historic, for historic purposes, because it makes it easy for the homeowner to put them in and out. The frame is actually, it's some type of plastic or rubber. It's almost like a pressure fit, so you're not screwing anything in. But it might be something to recommend to somebody going forward, because just like I said, they're so user friendly. You don't need clips, you don't need to mount them or screw anything in. So
they fit them perfectly to begin with.
Exactly. Just thought I'd offer that.
Thank you. Good to know.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Yeah. I'll be happy to research that and
It's
provide
really
information.
unique. Like I said, I looked at some of the pricing and it's pretty expensive, but it really is a nicer look, and it's a lot easier for a homeowner to take in and out than trying to mount any hardware or anything like that.
They might use Lexan.
Actually, what they use. It's either a very thin plexiglass or a Lexan or something. It's very thin. It's not as thick as like 1/8-inch plexiglass, but I don't know. It's just something that I saw, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Pretty much because they have the corner on the market now. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I have Lexan panels on two of my windows.
Yeah. Yep.
And, I haven't screwed to the outside, but it's not cheap, Lexan.
No, none of it is now. It's all been driven up with all the guards and everything. It's been very scarce and hard to find. And when you do find it, usually it's even higher, priced even higher than it was.
But it lasts
pre-COVID.
100 years.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hold everything up. I'll let you go. I know it's late.
Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we go to Kingsway. Kingsway wants to replace shingles. So it's called 64 King Circuit, but I think that's the name of the street, and it wanders around. And so there are a few, like 3 different buildings on it. One is the little God's shack at the beginning when you drive in. And then you go up to more of the headquarters where the post office, etc., is, and where you vote if you're in Area 7. So we have Michael tonight.
Hi, good evening. My name is Michael Manianis. I work for Barkin Management. We are the managing agent for the Kingsway Trust, which is the umbrella association which maintains the common buildings in Kingsway.
Now, these are Mybeck shingles. They do a pretty good job of coating them. These are dipped.
Yeah, so currently, and I provided some pictures to Grace, the 3 common buildings in question have Eastern white cedar shingles on them, but they have been painted in a Navajo white, as you can see. The trim is also Navajo white. So everything on those buildings is Navajo white. The guard shack has a vertical pine board, which is also painted in a similar fashion.
Yeah.
And like you said, we're hoping to go to a factory dipped shingle by Maybeck, the A's in a driftwood 208, which we think would help beautify the buildings as well. During the process, we'd be able to replace the water resistant barrier and reflash the windows, maintaining the buildings as well, and reducing the maintenance costs in the future for our residents as well.
Good. Okay. Now, question though, on the entry building, that has a vertical siding now.
Yes.
And that will also be going to the same shingles.
That would be our wish, and that's the same for the post office. It's kind of hard to tell in the picture, but this is also the vertical pine board siding. In the past, we've had trouble sourcing that exact width pine board for repairs. So we hope to get all 3 buildings in the same material for aesthetic reasons and maintenance reasons in the future.
Great. Okay. So what do you think, guys?
Well, I assume that there are no abutters present who
Well,
have.
then maybe we still have about 15 participants. Are there any abutters? No, I thought there might be some.
So as I was saying, I assume there are no abutters present, and I move to approve the application.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Bob Wilkins?
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols?
Aye.
Myself, Richard Kaganworth? Aye.
Could I ask one question of the committee, please?
Sure, Mike.
As of right now, our intentions on the guard shack, which will be the first project, is to keep the trim in the rough sawn spruce and paint it white, which I've been told by Grace that's allowed. For the second larger buildings, the association hasn't made a decision on trim. We assume they're going to want to paint it white, just like the guard shack. If they chose to switch to an AZAC material, would we have to come in front of you again?
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's about 1,500 feet off of 6A, not visible from the road, but I just wanted to, check all my bases while I'm in front of you.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be white. You have to,
yes.
Even though it's AZAC, you have to paint it anyway.
Yeah.
I would think we'd be able to do that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
At worst, you could do a certificate of exemption.
Okay.
And I would quickly review that so it wouldn't hold you up.
All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. We haven't made that decision yet, but thank you.
Good. Okay, Mike.
Have a good night.
Night. Okay, next item is on Strawberry Lane. Number 1, Strawberry Lane, for the installation of a pool fence. And that's by Bella Pools for the homeowner, Nicholas Prezioso and Jeff Fanera. is the agent. So we probably have Jeff here tonight. I think because of COVID-19, everybody's getting their pools in shape so they can relax in the pool and get some exercise. So we have Jeff, and if we unmute him,
Jeff, you've been promoted. You can unmute yourself and speak if you'd like.
Hello, can you hear me now?
yes.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fanaro with Bellow Pools. I am representing the homeowner.
Good. Grace will put up some information about the project. And we can take a look at the sample pictures. Here you go. Yeah. Now, I had a question of why it's so wiggly.
Why the fence is so wiggly? It was just a rough drawing. Sorry.
I was wondering the same thing, Richard.
Okay, it's going to be straight.
Well, the thing is that it slopes down quite a bit there, I think.
It does. That fence that we're putting in is what they call rackable. So it racks.
Now it starts at the corner of the building on the west side. And it gets down close to this pool, which is a odd-shaped pool. So let's go to number 5. Obviously, this is not the pool because there's a bridge in the background. So it's similar to this pool.
No, that's the style of fence.
Style of fence, okay. And that's what, 4 or 5 foot tall?
48 inches, yes.
Okay. And it's aluminum anodized?
It's black aluminum, correct.
Okay, and this is the house looking across the common there. It's a very nice house. I remember you or a previous owner worked on the garage a few years back, must be 15 years ago. And where the pool would go, see, is on this slope section, so it's gonna have to be partially flattened out. And then the black lines show where the fence would come down and go around it. So I guess it would, see the way it slopes and not uniform. So it's going to have some ups and downs and wiggles, I would guess. And the only thing I can say about, there's quite a bit of trees back, whoever took the picture, they're probably standing right where there are a bunch of trees. So it's partially shielded. If you look at a Google map, it's shielded from 6A. So it's not like you're driving down 6A and suddenly you see a bunch of people romping in the pool. But it would be helpful if you put some shrubs around it, I would think.
Well, in our proposal, he's going to be putting some evergreens, tall evergreens in.
Okay, good. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you see, this picture shows all the wooded area down towards the post office.
Correct, without any leaves. I think you'll have some more blockage once the trees are leafed out in the spring.
Oh, yeah, it'd be quite dense.
So the evergreens are going to be strategically placed to obscure the view from 6A?
Correct. Probably a little more so up towards the front of the house if you were standing directly in front. And I believe they are going from the front right of the house towards Summer Street.
Yeah, it's going to block out that house shown in the picture in the back in the white car.
Mm-hmm.
That would do the trick. Great. Okay.
Are there any abutters present?
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
All in favor, Rosemary Nichols
Aye.
and Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
myself, Richard Gegenwarth. Aye, especially with the extra evergreens. Great. Okay, thanks for coming, Jeff.
Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. Okay. Next is a relatively easy one, I think. It's for sign replacement at 441 Route 6A. Jacqueline and Michael Dignault. Maybe he can pronounce it better than me.
Sorry, Mike. It's Daniel. Looks like Dignault.
Daniel, okay. Good, Jackie. This is a very historic kind of house. And I learned a little more about it today. This house has come before the committee many times for work going on in back and the garage, etc., which is standalone. And it has a plaque on it now, which is circled in this picture.
Yeah.
And there was a doctor living here for many years. I forget his name now.
Shapiro.
Shapiro, yes. And he always kept the house looking very nice. And then I think he got cancer or something and he passed away. Well, I think in Florida, 2 years ago or so?
That's sad.
So going further back though, this was owned by the parson who was the pastor at the Yarmouth Port what is it, up by the library church?
Oh, the first congregational?
Congregational, yeah. Of
So-
Yarmouth Port. And trying to think of his name now. Was it Jackie? Help me.
I have yet to delve into the records. We're trying to, I'd love to learn as much as we can about the house and.
Hey, hold on 1 second. I get my file cabinet.
Oh,
We're going to get a history lesson.
no, that's great. I'm trying to dig, but because of, COVID, I can't get out much and you can only go so far on the computer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a funny thing because his name was something like Cogwell, but it turns out that my wife's, here it is, was Reverend Nathaniel Cogswell.
How do you spell that?
Cogswell.
Okay.
He was minister of the First Congregational Church of Yarmouth, and he built his house in the spring of 1851, et cetera, et cetera. It goes on and talks about him. He was president of the Yarmouth Library Association's Board of Trustees. In fact, he left his job as he got tired of preaching, and he worked towards improving the literary awareness of Yarmouth townspeople. And he got the library started.
Wow.
Eventually-
I'm an English teacher, so it comes full circle.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
He died, I guess, around 1875, because he got an award around 1871. But it turns out that the girlfriend of my wife has a middle name of Cogswell. And we think she may have been related to this Cogswell someplace.
Huh. Well, thank you. I'm going to use that information and continue my historical search.
Yeah, she didn't get that name from getting married. She's never been married. She's about 80 years old. And it's like a double name, Judy. And now what's desired here is this little black sign be changed to number 3.
Mhm.
And if we can turn it, it would become this one. We have one problem though. It turns out that little signs like this for a house are meant to be no more than 1 square foot. So do you think it could be scaled down a little bit?
Yeah.
It doesn't have necessarily be a 1 square foot, but 16, you can't just chop off the edge and get it down to a nice looking sign.
No, I think, and it's funny because the sign that's on there now is 9 by 16, the black sign.
Oh, the one on the house.
The one that's currently on the house, I measured it and it's 9 by 16.
Yeah, okay, so 9 by 16 or 10 by 16, something like that, so that it's not too big.
And is the sign that is currently on the house part of any standard sign that's been used in the past for historic houses in Yarmouth Port?
Like a National Trust sign? Is that what you're thinking of?
Right.
We have one on the house. That's on the right side of the door.
Oh, okay.
So this is on the left side, and you just can't read the sign. And I would love for the house to be recognized as the parsonage, because when I've done any research, it's always referenced as the parsonage. And even when it was sold to us, it was referenced as the parsonage. So I think it would be wonderful to have that, the house to get that recognition.
Oh, I think it's a really good idea, and particularly to make it more visible, because I frequently drive by houses and it's virtually impossible to read what signs say. So I think it's a great idea. It's like scaled down proportionately.
I went to an area down in Sandwich, which has a lot of houses built around 1820. And they were readable like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that gave me a break. I don't know, if you clip the corners off, maybe it would match the one on the other side of the door a little bit.
Well, I can have it remade to scale it down a bit.
Did you have it made already?
Well, it's funny. The man that I reached out to, because when I looked into it, there was no one to go to per se. There wasn't a place in Yarmouth Port that, to get signs. So I just did some research online and I found just a man who makes them. It's just out of his, his small business. And he got really excited about it. He knows the area. He has friends in the area. He said he's made like thousands of these signs.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, I think my husband and I are just gonna go for it. And if it's not approved, we'll hang it inside the house. And he goes, well, that's funny because I actually already made it. I got very excited and I wanted to see it. So he made it and we have it. So if we do need to make it smaller, we can make a second one and just hang one inside the house and have one outside.
If he's going to redo it, I would suggest centering the circa 1823. Right now it's justified left below parsonage.
Right, because the 1823 is centered, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
What I was just about to say, the 1823 is centered. Why don't we just eliminate the C for circa? Just say 1823. Then you got it.
We don't know.
Well, that's because
we don't know exactly that it's 1823. I understand that.
Yeah.
Probably pretty close, but
I think it means it was either built or finished or when it says circa, it means that it was around there, but they can't pinpoint if that's when the finishing, touches were put on or when the ground was broken.
They may not have.
Let me look at the article.
Completely accurately, it's researched historical records, and so they hedged. They're fudging a little bit.
Right, but it looks nice.
It's shorter than saying roundabout.
Right, right. So I can go back to him and just see if he can do something smaller. And and if that was the case, would I come back to this meeting, or how would that work?
Just one correction here. This is the book of Yarmouth, the old houses of Yarmouth.
Okay.
And in that, it says circa 1830.
Oh.
Huh.
And Reverend Cogswell evidently moved in. He built the house.
I wonder where this 1823.
51 is when he retired. Yeah. So he lived in there from when it was built. And this says 1880, circa. So maybe
1880 or 1830?
1820, 1830.
So I wonder maybe if I don't know. It didn't take 7 years to build.
No.
Maybe they had to go to the Old Kings Highway Committee.
That's not funny.
Bob, you're a member of the Historic Society, aren't you?
I am actually not. I am a member of the YNCPF, the Yarmouth New Church Preservation Foundation, but I'm not. I do a lot of volunteerism, Richard, as do you, and I can't spread myself so thin.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, I thought years ago you were a member of that.
No, I was never. Suzanne was. Suzanne was.
Suzanne was?
Yes.
Yeah. Debbie Gray was. Debbie Gray was our chairman a few years ago. And she was a member. And she had old dresses and stuff. She'd dress up for occasions. But she might know more about this circa 20 or 23 or 30.
Yeah, this could be a blessing in disguise. You might want to change the date if you can find out what the actual accurate date is. And as far as centering, again, I've been thinking about this all along as we've been discussing. You could make the C a little smaller, and that would make it definitely separated from the actual dates, because I like the date centered. And if the C was discrete, smaller, then it wouldn't, I think it wouldn't look unbalanced.
Yeah, I think I like that too. And it's funny, he said he goes to graveyards and he goes to the headstones, and he looks at what year the person passed, and then he uses that print for these signs so that
the font is great. I love the font.
I like the font too.
Yeah.
So may I make a motion to approve with the sign being scaled down to fit the regulations?
Well, not necessarily completely, but I mean, that's the regulation is 1 square foot, but if it was slightly larger, what do you guys think? Want to stick to the number?
I'm not real fixated on the size. I think I'd like to allow the applicant artistic license on the.
Right.
I'm good with that. I move to approve as submitted.
Okay. All right, I'll stop.
Okay. All in favor, Rosemary Nichols
Aye.
and Bob Wilkins
Aye.
and Jackie Tenya. No, you can't approve.
Aye.
Getting tired, Richard.
Aye.
We still have other applications to go.
Okay. We asked for neighbors, right?
No, we didn't.
No.
Are there any abutters? Good.
Hopefully this will set a trend along 6A because I'd like to be able to read the signs when I'm zooming by.
Yeah, maybe I'll put one.
You can read this one. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate the historical tidbits. I took down some notes, so I'm going to keep searching.
We may have some of these books in the office we used to years ago.
Yeah, and when we can all be out and about, I would love to.
Yeah, when the town hall is open, you can actually go in. We may find some there.
And the cobbler shop, you're next to the post office in Yarmouthport, to the west of the post office and set back a little bit. When they're open, which I think it's Tuesdays typically, and maybe some other days, but anyway, you can check out online, Historical Society of Old Yarmouth. They have a good selection of books there that
Wonderful.
you look at.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate this.
Okay. Good night.
All right. Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay. Let's see. Where are we? Next one is 50 Center Street. Now, I'm not sure if we have all of this stuff, but the homeowner is M. Kelly with EY, and Bayside Building is the agent. I suspect Bayside will represent this. And it's for a new construction, new dwelling. And I was surprised to see that I think it's 2 bedrooms. On my contact, probably 15 years ago, people came in with a design for a building at this site. And its plot plan was very similar to this one. So if you look at picture 4, there you go. That's the north arrow. And you can see this is Playground Lane on the right and Center Street on the left. And they come together where you have to have your neck on a swivel to not get killed. And,
Grace, is there anything we can do about the background noise?
Everyone just has to remain muted.
Okay, so anyway, there's 2 driveways here. There's one in the back, light green, and then the grass all around there. And then there's one in the front, which allows you to drive up to the front door. So it's very nice for visitors. There's a couple of other, if you look at number 5, This shows those driveways better
Yes.
and the content of the property. And this whole square at the top is the garage. It's a two-car garage. Dwelling, deck, septic system. And right now, the whole lot is wooded. Now, I don't know, Grace, but when I looked at this today, there were no elevations. Here we go. We got them now. So here we go. Front elevation. And the two sides are pictured. It's a very nice Cape style house. Kind of a half Cape with additions and a dormer up above. And the next picture is the rear of the house. And let's see. Here's the garage, living area, living room, kitchen, dining area. There's a laundry room. And then there's a master bedroom on the side. Master bedroom suite. And Grace, you might help me, but I thought this was a 2-bedroom house. Yeah, it's a new 2-bedroom with 2.5 baths. So there are a lot of windows upstairs, so you could have a bedroom upstairs or more. Here it is. It's a sitting room, open below, and then the bedroom.
Next door.
So that's good.
Are there any abutters present to this project?
Doesn't look like it at the moment.
I think it's very handsome. I move to approve.
I second.
All in favor? Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
Richard Gegenwarth, aye. Well, I had already looked at this afternoon. I hope everyone else did, but it's typical materials, asphalt shingles, probably architectural style, pewter wood in color, AZEC trim, and trim a band of AZEC around the top of the chimney. Is shingles all around, natural. Color on the front is white, but everything else is natural, sides and rear. And the windows are white, doors are eggnog or hail something, which is a kind of a gray. We've seen that before. This is for the front door, 3 doors. Edison 200 rear windows, 6/1. Hail Navy, that's what the doors are, Hail Navy. And the shutters are Hail Navy. So anyway, we already approved this, but as I say, I had read all this through this afternoon, and I hope you did too. So we can move on to the next item, which is concerned with a post and beam barn at 968 Route 6A. And although it's on 938 Route 6A, owned by Dale Orman, who has a restaurant across the street, and the agent is Mike Pimentel, the barn itself is down the street a bit. It's not on 6A. It's on Bray Farms South, which is the corner of 6A. So perhaps we'll have Dale speak to this after he gets unmuted.
Good evening.
Hi, Dale. Good to see you again. Now, it seems that you built a similar one. Where, in Brewster or someplace?
Yes, I work with a nonprofit called Dream Day on Cape Cod, and we built this over the past year. And it is the picture that I submitted. And I propose to do the exact same thing with the exception of it being 2 feet shorter.
So maybe we'll catch up with your material. Here we go. Yeah, it's post and beam, and next spec sheet. Pine barn boards for the siding, and color is natural on the roof, which is the asphalt shingles. I don't know if natural is the right term or is it weathered wood?
Weathered wood, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the pond board, that's going to be left natural, I guess.
Correct.
And the trim is natural, also pine trim. And the doors are wood and steel. And natural, and then its white rear is a smaller door. Windows 3/4, permanently applied, and LED lighting. Propose a telephone pole to bring the electricity across the road. So if we take a look at the plot plan, yeah, you get a good idea of it. See, this is the intersection of 6A. So we have to go down the road a piece and locate it here. And the driveway comes off Bray Farm Road South, flares out. And then there's no septic system involved in this, I would guess.
Not at this time.
And now we can look at the pictures like 7, 6, 5, 4, whatever it is. Here's 4. So these are the barn doors with lights above. Now the picture looks like it's stained pink, but this is going to be natural looking pine, which will
Correct.
be
I think it just copied.
yeah, it'll be weathering light gray. And the sides, the windows. Now you've pictured here 6/6. So is that right? Because the spec sheet says 3/4, which didn't make sense. Dale?
I'm sorry?
The windows pictured here are 6/6. On the spec sheet, it said something else.
The picture I'm looking at is 3x4.
Oh, you call
It's
it
just terminology.
Yeah, that's terminology. We call that 6/6.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yep.
12 lights.
So that's why I would have filled it out differently. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, when you're talking doors, like the back door of houses, a lot of times they'll call this a 12 light.
I understand.
And sometimes, you know, if you had 2x3, 6 light, or sometimes you see 9 light. But when you're talking these double hung windows, we usually do the other way.
And these windows don't open, they're fixed?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Well, typical for a barn, I guess.
Yes, and they're actually purchased them through a barn company up in New Hampshire who specifically makes barn doors and windows.
Ah, great. Good. There you go. Now, this is the one that was built recently.
Yes, and if you look at the picture right above the transom window,
yeah,
I sliced out a piece there to make it shorter. So that's what it would look like on the lot. The one at our camp is actually 2 feet taller than that.
And this has wood and batten.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. So
I have two questions. Recognizing that this barn was approved in Brewster, we are a separate entity here. I think cedar shingles would be far more appropriate for Yarmouthport. And I prefer the Brewster doors to the ones with the applied boards in the cross aesthetic.
Yes, actually, the back of that photograph there, the back of that door is the cross buck, and you could just turn it around.
Right, that seems more Pennsylvania to me somehow, the crossing. Also, the side door, that similar style of applied board seems not Yarmouthport. I would prefer to see white cedar shingles for the siding and something more like these doors. Are these sliders, these doors? Are those?
They are.
Those are fake hinges. So
Correct.
so yeah. So they're on rollers. Those are rolling barn doors.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's a nice style. I like the doors. I'd prefer white cedar.
I'm not opposed to doing it, and I just mentioned that the inside of this building is, with its post and beam, is absolutely gorgeous. And my only concern would be cedar on the outside and post and beam on the inside, but I'm not opposed to changing it to cedar.
Yeah, generally speaking, the barns around here are clad in white cedar.
Yeah, I could make that change without issue.
And you're okay with the doors also?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any abutters present? I move to approve the application as amended to reflect white cedar siding and barn doors mimicking those used on the barn in Brewster.
Rosemary is on. You have to unmute yourself.
I second.
Okay. All in favor? Bob Wilkins.
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols.
Aye.
And myself, Richard Gagenworth, aye. So.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome, Dale. I assume this is sort of prefabbed and all these beams are numbered and you put it all together?
Exactly. It was amazing how well the one in Brewster went together. I was just blown away with how well it all fit together. I had 23 volunteers that day, contractors, and we did it, put the frame together in one day.
Wow,
It was just an amazing day. It was a lot of fun. All the contractors just had a blast.
great. Well, maybe you contact the office when you're going to do it. We may just go out and lend a help or at least observe it.
Yes, we had quite a few observers, and it was quite a day.
Good. Thank you. Good talking to you again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Beautiful. I'd love to see that raised. Now, at 334 Route 6A, this is a house next to the fire station. They want to put picket fence. It says 7 sections of fence. Richard and Kim White are the owners, and hopefully one of them are here. We still have 7 participants, so hopefully he's one of them. Because we have a tabled item also.
Is Richard or Kim here? If so, raise your hand or press star 9 if you're on your phone. Yeah, they're here.
Cell phone.
Hello,
Hello,
can you hear me?
Richard?
Yep.
Great. Okay. So Grace has some information about this project. And this is coming from the Yarmouth Community Development Screen. So Richard, this is going to be a picket fence, right?
Correct.
And it's about, what, 3 feet tall?
Yes, it is.
And it's kind of L-shaped, if I recall.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go brush some arborvitae's from, I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm interested in just kind of blocking the eyesore behind the store.
Uh-huh, yep. Yeah, you did a nice job fixing this up. And,
I did not fix it up, but we did buy it.
you bought it, yeah, whoever had it had come before us and they were making major improvements.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was they did a nice job with it.
Yeah, it needed a lot of help and they did.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, well, they came in with pictures showing, you know, and I didn't go over and try to get around it. It was overgrown.
I work for a utility company. I've driven 6A for forever, and I never even knew there was a house here.
Yeah, it's all covered up.
Yeah,
it's just overgrown. Yeah, and so I didn't try to wade through it, but accepted the pictures. Okay, so let's show these pictures. Here we go. It's Red Jacket Road, and down where it says Main Street, it shows the L shape of the fence, and that's the fence. And this is the house on the next 8. And then, yeah, now the fence would be just inside.
I'm not sure what the regulations are. I'd like to get as close to the sidewalk as possible, but You know, understanding that there might be a footage.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's regulation, but I would guess 1 or 2 feet.
Okay.
What do you think, Bob?
I don't know. I'm sure that's easily ascertainable.
Yeah, this
Probably, you
sidewalk.
probably.
I would just ask the building inspector.
Yeah, the sidewalk is shown.
That back probably, but not much, judging from other equivalent fences along 6A. Some of them are very close to the
Yeah,
sidewalk.
some of them are quite close and some of them. The only problem here is, you know, there may be someone occasionally driving off the road, so you wouldn't want it to be clobbered.
Yeah.
Or
Well, that's another reason why I kind of want to put the fence up too, because people going in and out of the store
yeah,
will drive across part of the lawn. So I kind of want to just give it some definition.
right. Good idea. Okay, so it will come across the front beyond the mailbox.
Yeah, a little bit past the mailbox, then I'll take a turn back. And then, like I said, we're going to do hedges all along the back there.
Yep.
Just to kind of block off.
Terrific. Okay, do we have anything else in pictures that more information? Just look in the same place, the other direction. Yeah, the tree is a little bit of a guide too.
That tree, I know to do anything on 6A, you know, there is a lot to it, but
right.
I mean, I'd eventually wouldn't mind taking that tree down if it was possible.
Picture 13, right? This tree.
Yeah, but basically I'm going to use that as the starting point for the fence. And then.
Yep, that makes sense. Good. Okay. So what do you think, people?
I move to approve.
I second.
There are no butters left. Oh, it doesn't look like there are any butters left, so.
No.
I move to approve.
I second.
All in favor? Bob Wilkins?
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols?
Aye.
Richard Kagaworth? Aye. So good luck with it, Richard.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Take care.
Good night. Now, we have an item that was tabled 2 weeks ago. I think we were lacking some views, or the views were mirror imaged, but we knew a lot about it, so maybe it'll go quickly here. So we have to take it off of being tabled. So we have a motion.
I move to untable. I move to untable.
I second.
All in favor? Untabling it. Bob Wilkins.
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols.
Aye.
Richard Gegenwarth. Aye. So maybe we have Ellie.
Yes, I'm here.
Ellie, is that how you pronounce it?
Eli.
Eli.
Yep.
You should know better.
No.
I had a friend in a monastery. Eli. New construction of single family at 42 Circle. And we had a lot of data sheets and elevations, but there was a mix up with the elevations. This is the pool house, which is sort of octagonal shaped. 2, 4, 6. Hexagonal. And the sliding glass doors face the pool. And if we go to, is there a plot plan someplace? What's up above 17, Grace?
Well, Andrew, I have to reshare my screen for the new one.
What plans? I thought there was a block plan.
It's an old one.
Oh. Oh, yeah. This is the pool house shown there. And sister circles come around a circle. So is there a north arrow here?
Mhm.
It's probably hidden. Yep, here we go, it's the north arrow. So there's not much, as I think we talked about this before, there's not much that points south, which would enhance solar take up. And it would be nice to heat the pool with solar energy. So you probably could put some ground-mounted panels out towards the septic system. Eventually, but in the meantime, it shows where the pool will be and the patio tucked in the corner of the house there. And the ground slopes quite a bit. So you get readings up above like 87, 86. And then in near the pool, you've got 97, 98. So it's kind of on a knoll. It tapers away from the house about 10 feet. But the section close into the house is flattened out. So let's look at the elevations.
Hold on.
Okay, so it's got a nice front elevation and rear elevation. We have noted here 6/1 windows. And how's the side elevation? The garage has a dormer on the side. That would be the right side elevation. Probably the right and left are on one piece of paper. So this is this is reversed again. This is a mirror image. Well, we know what it's going to look like. This is it. Yeah, both sides are mirror imaged. What we see looks very nice. The fact that there's no windows on this side isn't particularly bad. And the way it lays on the plot doesn't make it all that noticeable. Eli, what's inside of this?
Which one? This room here?
The left elevation.
That's a what? That's a bedroom.
Down
And-
below, on the first floor?
Yes.
And
There is windows in the front and in the back of it. And last elevation we had windows on this side, and
yeah,
you asked for to take off the windows because it was so many windows, and that's what we did.
oh,
So there is windows on the porch side and there is window on the backyard side.
yep, okay. So could we go back to that, Grace? Yeah, so there's 3 windows here and 2 windows in the back. Good. Yeah, you get so after a while, you don't know where to put the bed. And it is a bedroom. Good. And up above is just attic space.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so let's go to the spec sheet if possible. See, it's interesting, Eli. Your name shows up as ELI, but on my printed sheet here, it says ELIE.
Probably I'm missing the A. I'm missing the A.
Yeah. So here we go. It's shingles all around. The white is white shingles, is it?
Like off gray, like can I be a grayish color, like Cape Cod gray or off gray color?
White cedar shingles, so-called.
Okay.
But they're going to be natural all around?
We spoke, I think, about last time. It's gonna be a double dip.
Oh, Cape Cod gray?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think you mentioned that last time.
Yeah.
Okay, black asphalt on the top, white trim, and so on. Now, at this time, the pool's not under consideration here. We're working on just the house. Is that right?
Not working on everything, no, because the pool is on.
Is the pool house on the agenda here? And we showed the pictures of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, these. These also are cedar shingles.
Correct.
Similar to the house.
Yep.
And the roof is similar.
Correct.
Good. Is the pool going to go in right away?
They're all gonna be going on the same time. Yeah.
And the pool fence is what, black?
It won't be no fence. It's gonna be a hard cover. I mean, wood cover. And I mentioned it on the application.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so we don't have to worry about a fence.
Correct.
Covered over when it's not in use. Keeps a lot of leaves out too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we're ready for a motion on this.
I move to approve enthusiastically. Very nice.
Thank you.
Beautiful. I second enthusiastically.
Yeah, and all in favor, Bob Wilkins,
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols,
Aye.
and Richard Kaganwath. Aye.
Thank you.
Julie. Good luck with it all. Hope it goes.
Thank you so much. You have a good night. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Aye.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for a butters or anything because
No one left.
there's only 5.
They've all gone to bed.
I think I saw one falling asleep back there.
Okay, well, it's 10 o'clock. It was a long night. The first item took an hour,
Yeah,
almost an hour. But
that was a good discussion, though.
There
Well
was
worth it.
time.
Yeah.
And I think we made progress.
Yes.
We'll learn how much work is involved and what they're going to have to do. But I think they're approaching it the right way
Mm.
to test it out and see what can be saved reasonably.
I think that worked well.
Yeah. They may find it's more cost effective to restore the slate on the top.
Yeah, right. But it depends on the percentage. You know, if they're kind of fragile and they lose a lot in breakage, you know, then it might be a different
Yeah,
story.
you wonder how they break in that location. Like tree limbs fall on them, or sleet, or who knows what.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Also, you know, the temperature changes going from cold. They cool off faster every night. So when we get a frost, they're pointing to the sky, and they cool faster. So they
How are the slate shingles adhered to the roof?
And I think they're nailed down.
They're nailed. They're nailed.
They're nailed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things is the nails, if the nails rust, they can start loosening up, falling off. And
Yeah.
just that one is holding the other. I had troubles on my old house. It was built during the oil crisis, 1973. Remember the embargo we had? They couldn't get asphalt shingles, which are made with oil. And so they gave me cedar shingles at the same price. And they use the wrong nails. And after about 10 years, they started falling off.
Yeah, that happened to me too, Richard.
Wow.
Very same thing.
And it looked fantastic, you know, when the house was new and the cedar shingles. And then I had to replace them. So I put weathered wood up.
Yeah.
But same with these. I mean, if those shingles were done 100 years ago.
Yeah, they didn't have stainless steel nails.
Nails.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I move to adjourn.
I second.
All in favor? Bob Wilkins.
Aye.
Rosemary Nichols.
Aye.
Grace Rogers.
Grace says yes.
Aye. Okay, we'll give you a break, Grace.
Yeah, don't give up, Grace. They're not